Polynesians who could hardly afford much would have this whole table full of food and be so happy to feed the missionaries. And to have my companion be like, no, sorry, we're not allowed to sit down and eat. I literally cried the whole way home because I felt so fucking rude these people. Exactly. I was like that. I remember sitting down with her because she was American, and I'm like, look, I know you don't know much about Australia and our culture, but I'm not doing that again. That was so rude. Like, that's disgustingly rude for a missionary to do. And she was like, oh, well, it's the mission president's rule. You need to talk to the mission president. I was like, okay, I don't care. I ended up calling him. I'm like, President, I'm like, he was also American, so I explained again, it's rude to not eat the food that they've provided. I'm like, I really appreciate you as my mission president, and I respect your decision. I told him, I'm respecting the Spirit's decision in my heart to not follow that rule. And he was like, okay, Sister Clark, like, if that's how you feel, then you can do that. And I was like,
nice.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, that's good.
He was like, you need to follow the Spirit in that. And then I remember the next day we were at a member's house and they were like, oh, do you want to, like, stay for dinner?
And you're like, hell yeah.
I was like, the Spirit is saying, yes, I want to stay for dinner. It was amazing. We had, like, pork roast, and my companion was like, she was like, we shouldn't be doing this. I'm like, it's okay. The mission president said I could do this.
The Spirit said it's fine, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a bit of an insane rule, because I feel like eating with the members was the way that we connected with them, and they weren't going to trust us with their friends and family if they didn't know who we were.
Well, like, how do you get more, you get better leads when they're coming from the members, because they know them. Whereas if you're just door knocking, people are automatically putting that wall up. And that's the thing that, like, for me, mine was very different. Members didn't want us. Like we had the core members that would, and like a couple of areas, like they would invite us over fairly regularly. And I had some of the most fabulous food there, and some of the weirdest, like lamb brain. That was an interesting one.
Oh, delicious.
So and that's it.
My ex-husband ate horse when he was on his mission.
That's different.
But
that's one of the ones where you wanted to get as many member visits as you could, because that way you could teach in the home and you didn't have to proselyte. Like one of the other ones, I was looking through the White Handbook, is that the rules around being with people of the opposite sex. So even if they were both of you, you couldn't be alone with a woman. You always had to have someone else there. And the living quarters, sometimes you live with members. They rent out a room or an apartment or something like that. And there's rules around that. And just like everyone has the instinct. If a little kid runs up, they love the missionaries. Just give them a hug and say, hey, how you doing? Not allowed to touch kids.
No touching.
Don't touch them. Don't get in. Like, I understand.
I wonder what happened, that made that rule a thing.
Well, that's the thing. I get that there's stuff that goes wrong, and people, they'd go down that path.
I mean, there are dodgy missionaries out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, because so many people, because it's an expectation that men go on a mission and stuff. I think there's a lot of people that go out on missions that don't actually care, that don't actually want to be there. They're just doing it to keep their family happy. And
not bad.
But and some of these people though, can actually be dangerous people. Like I've heard of missionaries that sexually assaulted
Predators.
women on their mission, and that is insane to me, because I'm like, you're supposed to be doing the Lord's work, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
there are actual predators out there being trusted with kids and families and things like that,
and it's insane.
Exactly.
So I understand why they have some of those rules in place, but I think sometimes as well, if you're a good person and you assume that missionaries should be, because they are supposed to be these really good, worthy young people who just want to, share the happiness of the gospel and whatever, rules like that shouldn't need to be necessary.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I remember there was this one family in an area, they had a couple of young kids, and he was English and she was Kiwi. And the only place I've been to where they could actually relate, they had friends and around where we are now, and family, and they could actually make it feel like home.
Yeah.
And they added my parents on Facebook so they could keep us up to date, that type of thing. And the kids loved us. I ended up like the young one. He loves sharks.
Yeah.
And so we're out finding one day, and I found a cool little plush shark, and I got it for him, and he still has it 8 years later. I hear about it every now and then. And it's
cool.
like you go into those members' home and you're like, I'm just going to ignore this rule because we all know it's not for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And I always think of it like when you read about Jesus, he loved the children, and I just kind of think Jesus would not deny this child. Like if I am in a safe setting with people that are not going to be like false accusations or anything, my companion's there, what would Jesus do? Because we are taught that we are standing in place of Jesus, and so I would just be like, Jesus wouldn't deny this child. Yep, let's go read books and play, and
that's it. You know, it's just it takes the personality and the love out of the situation, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a big issue that I had with a lot of the rules, because I was very much, and still am, like, you know, you follow the spirit of the law rather than the actual hard law, because that's how you make those connections. And I remember being a child and just absolutely loving the missionaries, and having missionaries that be like, no, like, don't touch me, don't talk to me, I don't want anything to do with you, broke your heart. And I just think that's not something that I should be doing as someone representing Jesus.
It's a lasting impression, and those kids are that's how they're going to remember missionaries, as cold and distant.
Alright, so my next question is, like, what sort of experiences did you have with the people on your mission? So, like, I'm talking your companions, people you met while proselyting, like investigators of the church, like any cool stories that you want to share, like good and bad, about, you know, basically the people that you encountered on your mission.
I kind of was raised in a family that, like, we don't care about the numbers, so I feel like a lot of people go on the mission to baptize people. I went to serve the people and to become a better person, and so I had so many beautiful and amazing experiences with the people in the area that I served. Granted, it was a very dodgy area, so I also had some very scary experiences. But yeah, the first person that comes to mind is one of the first investigators that I met on the mission. She's still so special to me. She holds a special place in my heart. She's beautiful. She used to call me her little ray of sunshine.
That's cute.
Any moment we could be at her house, we were there. Like, we were trying to help her quit smoking so that she could be baptized.
Okay.
That was, I actually feel really bad about that, because we kind of rushed it a bit. Like, because technically you can get baptized if you have not smoked a cigarette for 1 week.
Right.
So we went to her house every single day that week, and they got her baptized on the Sunday, and she was back smoking the next day. So I'm like, okay, that was like a bit like not, I guess, ethical or anything. And I'm like, we should not have.
There were no ethics
done that.
on a mission.
Exactly, that's not something that
just
they talk
get
about.
those baptisms, guys.
But yeah, she was a beautiful lady. We had some amazing experiences. Just a funny little story. I remember sitting there trying to teach her a discussion, and she ended up coughing so hard her false teeth fell out across the table. It was amazing. We laughed so hard. But yeah, I loved her. We did so much for her, and she actually, I feel like she did change who I am for the better.
Is she still in the church now?
I'm not sure. I actually have one of my friends serving in that area. He actually found her. Oh, right. And yeah, apparently she still talks about me. I'm trying. The members of that ward were very, like, she's a smoker, single mum, and they are very, like, a rich area, and so they didn't want anything to do with her, and I've tried finding a way to be in contact with her, but nobody wants to help me out because she's less than them, apparently. But yeah,
Mormons aren't judgmental. What are you talking about?
Oh but yeah, so that was a really beautiful, amazing experience. Another one I had that taught me a really valuable lesson was a homeless man that I met, and he drunk, whatever, and you know, missionary said, "Hi, how you going?" and found out his name, and then a couple of days later I saw him in the same area, so I went up to him and I was like, "Oh, hi," you know, I said his name, and he was like, "You remember my name?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was just so shocked that I remembered who he was, and I was just...
That's so sweet.
It was, like, that stayed with me, but yeah, I had some pretty wild experiences as well. I remember standing at some lights with one of my companions late at night and waiting for it to go green and just seeing this car roll up, the window roll down, and this guy stuck his head out and he was like, stab them, and then they drove off, and I was like, we're gonna die. And then literally had people confess to murdering their whole family and running to Australia to hide from the law, and I was like,
okay,
I would like to leave now. Thank you for your time. We'll be back in contact.
Be in touch.
I actually had a guy stalk me on my mission and had to send the elders around their house to steal this guy's phone and delete our number, and apparently he had followed me and taken photos of me as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really scary, but the mission president didn't do anything because we're missionaries and
just cover it up.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
The Lord will protect you. It's fine.
You're dispensable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Disposable.
Yeah, but
shit.
Yeah, we had some pretty wild stories, and yeah, I think my mission really changed me. As much as it was a traumatic experience, it changed me for the better. I feel like I'm able to connect with people in a deeper way now.
Yeah. Do you feel like, the people that you sort of converted to the church, do you kind of feel bad about that now? Or would you like to get in contact with them and be like, hey, since we met and I was teaching you and stuff, I've since kind of realized that maybe the church isn't so great and I don't really believe in it anymore. This is kind of where I'm at now. And I don't know, have you felt the urge to kind of reach out to them and be like, I was wrong, you're still a good person, you didn't need to, join this church to continue to be that good person that you were?
Not really. I didn't really have many people join the church. So,
alright.
The only person I would want to contact would be my first investigator. Yeah. But other than that, the people I stay in contact are mostly members already, and they're happy in that lifestyle, and it's not my role to be that's wrong. You should stop doing the stuff that makes you happy.
Leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. What kind of experiences did you have, Brother Hiram?
There wasn't anything super crazy. I mean, you get... As a missionary, you're in the weirdest places. You're walking through alleyways, you're walking through back streets, late at night, in the middle of the day when other people aren't out and about. Yeah. And so you meet a lot of interesting people. You find out that homelessness is a big thing. Yeah. You don't realise it until you're actually out there on the beat. Yeah. And so, a lot of people have mental health problems and they're rejected by society. And so, you meet those types of people. People yell at you, they scream at you, they slam doors at you, they threaten you, throw stuff at you. That's pretty normal. Most people are pretty respectful and to say no thanks. And until you get a companion that is so, I guess, forceful and no, you have to listen to me. Yeah. It's usually okay. I had a couple of those, and I didn't get along with them because I'm not here to force people to believe. Yeah. And you get some missionaries that'll put their foot in the door and not let them close the door, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're literally invading on someone's home after they've told you to leave.
Yeah.
It's just
do you want to get
disgusting.
Yeah.
So there wasn't anything super crazy that happened to me. While I was there, I was a few areas away. And the missionaries a bit closer went into lockdown after someone in central London went on a beheading spree. Yeah, that was big. Yeah. We got safety briefings and things like that. I had a couple of investigators that I got to know. There's one that's like, I've been seeing the missionaries for years and years and years, and you're the first person that's come along and actually made me finally push me over that line. Then I left, and he got baptized by someone else.
Yeah, right.
But it's like you just said something one way. Yeah. You don't get as many Aussies over there. But I was just really blunt. I'm like, honestly, look like this. And he's like, I hadn't thought about that. But most of the people I keep in contact with are members, and it's only really casual once in a while. All my companions, there's a couple of companions that I talk to every now and then. Yeah. But that's probably it for the crazy. I mean, I had interesting stuff. I personally didn't like proselyting, as we've spoken about.
I don't think many missionaries do.
No, we felt so bad.
Yeah.
And so there was one day we we thought, oh, this area hasn't been, because you have an area book, right, in your flat, and it's a record of all the people that have been taught by previous missionaries that stays there. Right. So if you ever get taught by the missionaries, they've got a record of you, and they know you. If they have a number, they put it in there, all that type of stuff, your address, whatever else, any other details they have.
All of your information. Yeah, they don't tell you that.